So we're off on a punt tour today in Cambridge. It's a lovely way to see the city and the colleges. And here we go.
So you're quite local, so you've been punting before? Have you guys been punting before?
Yeah, I did it. I was a student here 30 years ago.
Okay,
So, first time I've been back, so yeah.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
So, welcome to Cambridge.
So, you waiting for your A-level results to come out then?
I actually did a BTEC.
Ah,
so,
brilliant.
technically yes, but also I know what I'm getting.
Oh, right,
So,
okay.
tomorrow's sort of like the official day when it gets finalised.
That's good.
So, I'm not too fussed about
Because
it.
they're out. It's tomorrow. They're out, aren't they? So
I'm sure there will be some people stressing over it. Welcome to Cambridge. Cambridge has been around for about 3,000 years. First settled by a group of Celts, but since then we've also had the Romans, Vikings, Saxons and Normans all come and stay in the area. The university itself, however, didn't come around until a lot later, not until 1209, when it was founded by a group of Oxford students. So if you hear the word Oxford mentioned on the tour, feel free to boo, I don't mind. We have quite a big rivalry between Cambridge and Oxford, so it's all good with me. Now, luckily the students that found Oxford were very bad. Before I talk about them, I'll just explain to you how the university works. I'm sure if you've been to university you know how it works with the collegiate system. Has anyone heard of the collegiate system? Everyone heard of it? Don't worry if you haven't. For those of you who haven't, a nice easy way to describe it. Does everyone know Harry Potter? Perfect. Think of Cambridge University and Hogwarts as the same sort of thing. Hogwarts has the 4 houses, Cambridge has 31 colleges. And the colleges are what the students are a part of. Unlike another university where you go, you're a part of the university, here you come to Cambridge, you join a college, and that college is where you live. And the big misconception about these colleges is that the colleges are where the students have their lessons. But in actual fact, this is not true. The colleges are basically, in simple terms, students' accommodation. So, out of the 8 colleges you're going to see today, bar a couple of chapels and libraries and a few other bits, most of it, for the meantime, will be student accommodation. You'll see. And so they came here, and when they first came, they stayed in the old Augustinian monks' hospital called St John's, which is where the St John's College is based now. But also, while they were there, you can imagine students who killed someone, a group of monks, they didn't really get along that well. So after not long, they're forced to move on. So they moved on to a hostel called Peterhouse. And it's from Peterhouse in 1209 that they founded the first college of Cambridge. The first college of Cambridge you're going to see today is King's College. Everyone recognise this view?
Yeah.
Amazing. So this is King's College. It was founded in 1441 by King Henry VI. 1 year after he founded a school named Eton. Has everyone heard of Eton? Perfect. So the plan was that the boys from Eton, who at the time were actually just poor orphan boys, they'd come to King's College once they were done at Eton and get what's called a gentleman's degree. Sort of acting like a bit of a finishing school. But this gentleman's degree did not involve sitting around smoking cigars and drinking whiskey, like it might suggest, but was actually just a way the students could get tested without doing any exams. All the students had to do prove to their masters that they were academically capable. Kind of like a BTEC in today's world with A-levels, there was a more practical version where they were assessed. Now, King Henry VI also had much grander plans for the college. He was going to make it one of the largest colleges, holding 70 scholars. In fact, if there hadn't been a wall called the Wall of Roses, he was going to build on this whole front lawn, a massive crypt in front of the chapel. Now, the War of the Roses, to give you a rough idea what it was about. A king died without no heir to the throne. For about 90 years there were big fights fighting over power of the country. As you can imagine, someone dies with no heir, and power-hungry people try to step in and steal the throne. And it was all to line the family up to one royal family who could then have succession to the throne. Big building here, this is the chapel. On the side is the Gibbs building, but I'll talk about these on the way back. You see this building now behind scaffolding? That's our next college we're going to look at today. Anyone know what it is? There's Clare College. What college did you go to, if you don't mind?
I did Hughes because it was a graduate course, so which was a little bit out other side of Parker's Piece.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cool.
Very good for your cricket.
So Clare College is actually the oldest college on the river. It was founded in 1338 by a lady named Lady Elizabeth de Clare. And she was a very wealthy lady, one of the wealthiest in Europe in fact. And the college had already been around as an institute, but to turn it into a college in Cambridge, they went and spoke to Lady Elizabeth de Clare, and she said of course she would donate. However, as any large donation would, it came with a few conditions. My first condition was the college must be named after her, hence where the name their college comes from. The other condition was that the college chaplain must pray for Lady Elizabeth de Clare every Sunday. Now this is because by the age of 26, well, she actually originally got married at the age of 14, she had her first husband. However, by the age of 26, she'd been widowed 3 times. She believed that it was something to do with her. Now, all 3 husbands died from the disease, battle, or both, but she still believed it was something to do with her. And so very sadly, she asked the college chaplain to pray for her. And still to this day, as a long ongoing tradition, every Sunday the college chaplain will pray for Lady Elizabeth de Clare. In fact, if you go online and have a look at Clare College's coat of arms, you'll see teardrops around the edge representing the service. And this college was created when he wanted to get a divorce from Norman from his first wife, Catherine of Aragon. But when Henry went to ask the Pope for this divorce, the Pope said no, and Henry was very cross. So he took matters into his own hands and created his very own church. When he created his church, he named it the Church of England. To go along with this, he named himself the supreme leader of the world, of his church. He then went on to raid a lot of Catholic monasteries and towns around the area, stealing their golden money to fund his new church. Sorry about the willows, it is good luck. It is considered good luck to go through the willows, don't worry. And he was actually going to destroy Cambridge and Oxford. However, his 6th wife, he had 6 wives by this point, Catherine of Park, again another Catherine as well, said, no, don't destroy them, they're too beautiful. Instead, why don't you create an institution for your most loyal clergy members? And so he created Trinity College. Now, thanks to what Henry VIII did, does anyone know what Trinity's net worth is? They're the wealthiest college.
Yeah.
Owns half the villages in Somerset.
Does it?
Yeah, it does. It's so much money.
Anyone knows their net worth though?
Oh, I don't know, billions, I would think.
Yeah, 2.4 billion.
Oh.
So to give you an idea of where that money is, they're the 3rd largest landowner in the country. It goes the Crown, the National Trust, Trinity College, Cambridge. They own the land that Oteroon in London sits on. Felixstowe Harbour, Trinity Port, one of the largest docks in Europe. I believe you used to be able to walk from Cambridge to Oxford all on Trinity land. I think you still can. Tesco's are still paying their debts off as about 1/3 of their stores are based on Trinity land. Anyone here a fan of the Top Gear, the car show?
Yeah.
Yeah, they own the old Top Gear test track. And on site here they have a wine cellar with £1.6 million of wine in. And to accompany that wine you must have one more thing. And for friends who's a friend with a fellow, I found out that Trinity spend £50,000 a year on cheese. But if you're having wine you've got to have a bit of cheese, so it balances out I guess. Now an interesting thing is, Trinity's wine cellar is possibly the most famous one and it has the highest value of goods in it. However, King's College have one that you can visit, so if you do fancy something to do, you can visit King's College Wine Cellar. It's something I'd really like to do myself. It'd be really cool. But I'll tell you about the building to my right here, the Wren Library, on the way back. But up to my left here, you may start to see the first view of St John's. And the building you see there is called St John's New College. little coffee. Going under the willow trees is considered good luck, by the way. Just make sure you all get a good picture now. You're up to my left now. This is the new court, obviously. St John's itself was founded in 1511, but the new court wasn't built till 1825. What do we think Henry did to Paul John Fisher? No, it was built by a man named Octopus, and it's accommodation in what's called a neo-Gothic style. So some people say the building to my left looks like a wedding cake. Which I think is quite nice. Some people say it is symmetrical, however this is not true. It does look very symmetrical, but it isn't. Now, there's a big rivalry between Trinity and St John's, and I'll tell you a bit more about it later. As King Henry VIII chopped off the head of the master of St John's. And in return, sort of over the years, there's been this big rivalry. So much so, St John's built this building here as a bit of a flex towards Trinity. The only people who can see it are us on the river, St John's students, mainly Trinity students across the river. They get the full view of it. They went to the extent of actually putting an eagle above the front gate. The eagle is the symbol of St John the Evangelist, who the college is named after. I might have just timed this really badly. Don't worry, you'll be able to see it in just a second. As you come around to the eagle, have a look up at its head. You may notice when we come around the corner, it's turned to its left. So it's not looking at Trinity across the river. You get a quick look as well, look up straight ahead of us now and you'll see a big church tower. Over to my right, that is actually St John's Chapel. It's the second tallest building in Cambridge. Over about 45 metres tall. So, some people say it's a timeless design. As we come under this bridge, Kitchen Bridge, one day Queen Victoria and one of her advisors walked across this bridge and they looked across straight ahead of us. And they saw this amazing Bridge of Sighs. Originally called the New Bridge though, built in 1831 by Henry Hodgkins, the same man with the new court. Now the Queen's advisors said it looked like the Bridge of Sighs and no one really argued with this and so the name stuck. Have you ever seen the Bridge of Sighs in Venice? Yeah? I personally don't think it looks much like it. It's a bit shorter and a bit stubbier. But people say it's one of the nicest ones with the design on it. You look in the bottom left there, you can see a portcullis, that square thing, the symbol of the Tudor family, Henry VIII. To my right you have a rose, sitting just up here, the symbol of the French royal family. This is also where we turn around. A maple tree and an alpine tree, but they seem to have just sprung up everywhere. Now you heard me mention earlier that rivalry between St John's and Trinity. It all started when St John's was founded in 1511 by Lady Margaret Both. Now she was a very wealthy, I say wealthy, she was Henry VIII's grandmother. And she founded this college, however Lady Margaret Both was quite old. So she put a man named John Fisher in charge of running the college. Now John Fisher was actually Henry VIII's tutor. However, when Henry VIII created Trinity and created his new religion, John Fisher refused to move religion. So Henry VIII ordered the execution of John Fisher. And he got his head chopped off. Which is where, again, a large part of this rivalry.
Now, up ahead, this is the Bridge of Sighs, the most iconic bridge in Cambridge.
Now, the Bridge of Sighs, as I mentioned earlier,
1831.
there's one in Venice, but there are also two others. So there's one in Venice, one in Cambridge, one in Oxford, and one in Las Vegas.
Said that this bridge looks exactly
I'm not just saying this because I'm biased to Cambridge. This is supposed to be one of the better ones. As it's got decoration. Everyone says the one in Oxford is quite boring. There's not much decoration on it.
But she was the queen, so
The one in Las Vegas just connects between two hotels as well. Now up to my left here is Cambridge College Chapel, one of the most famous buildings at the university. The construction started in 1446. However, it took 90 years to build and was finished by Henry VIII when he put the fan vaulted ceiling on for £5,000. Now, it's actually the largest chapel in the world. Briefly, chapel and church. Churches are public, chapels are private. Not everyone can visit a chapel. In fact, to visit this one, you have to pay. Now, inside the chapel, once was the world's most expensive painting ever sold, with the liberation of the Magi. It also has the largest fan vaulted ceiling in the world too, which from the inside looks like spiders' webs holding up, which is really cool. Each of those spires are 45 metres tall. And if you look about a quarter of the way down from the top, do you see some spikes? Well, those are actually for humans, not for animals. There's a group called the Cambridge Night Climbers who like to climb up the spires on this tower and put things on top. One year they climbed up and put a road cone on top. However, the college were very unhappy about this. They put up some scaffolding. But the night before the scaffolding was set to be finished, the students climbed back up and moved it to a different tower. And now there's actually a rule that says if something goes on one of the spires, the scaffolding goes on all four. To my left is the big Gibbs building designed by James Gibbs. It's 1742 construction started on it. That's used as the inspiration for the first White House in America, which is quite cool. You can sort of see the resemblance of it today with the stone trellis across the top. And if you go 4 windows out from the middle each way, you get a rough scale of the White House. Now the bridge ahead of us might not mean much to you guys. To the Chinese, it's one of the most famous bridges ever. They call it Kung Chau. It's where a very famous Chinese poet named Scudamore wrote a poem called Farewell to Cambridge. Scudamore was a student at King's College, however he sadly died in a plane crash in the 1970s. In 2008, King's College put a memorial stone for him. Up to my right, tucked behind, all sanded. But since then, tourism to the area has sort of blown up. Millions of people come and visit. This is where Scudamore and also a man named Alan Turing stayed. On my left, more beautiful.
It's like a race going on here, isn't it? It's busy now, isn't it? It's not very deep.
The one you see was actually only built in 1905.
So as you can see, the river is getting a little bit busier, guys. So it's fine if you want to put just watch yourselves on the left, guys.
Or there it goes, flying off.